Good day everyone, Louis here and welcome back to Acorn Hill. In today's video I wanted to share with you a new propagation project that I did yesterday. It's propagating rosemary. It's the time of the year, as I mentioned in my other propagation videos, where new shoots are forming and growing out of trees, out of shrubs, and out of good perennials. I have this big rosemary that's overgrown in the backyard. Now, I love that rosemary. Kathleen wants me to cut them and trim them and prune them. For some reason, I've been lazy doing that, and I'm holding myself from pruning it. But I did see some new growth, very healthy growth that I wanted to experiment with and see if I can propagate using the same propagation principles that I shared with you the last time. Today also I will give you a small update, short update on the propagation video for the hydrangeas that we did, I'd say about two and a half weeks ago. It is healthy and I'll show you all the details of it when I get to that part of the video. For now, hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you learned something new, as that's the goal that we have here in Acorn Hill. We'll see you soon. So look at that big hedge, a big clumping type of rosemary that we have. It started 4 years ago when I bought 6 individual 2-inch pots, about this big. And I figured I'd plant 6 of them in a clump. And successfully it has grown in this part of the raised bed, our raised garden along the west side. What I wanted to cut today and propagate is this part of the new growth, where over here you'll see that's already old wood. That woody part is not one that we want to cut from, but we do want to cut from that segment right there where you have the woody brown part of the stem up toward the lighter green part of this new growth. This within the nodes, if you watched my hydrangea propagating videos, I talked about plant nodes and leaf nodes. Well, this is a fine example of it as well, because along these nodes, that's where all the hormones, the growth hormones, are located, and that's why you see profuse growth coming from those individual nodes. The thing that I like about our rosemary over here, I'm going to give you a minor tour of the area. That's where the pergola is located, the west pergola, right there. And then over here, which I'm going to be doing on a future vlog, is those 2 apples that I've espaliered over the years. And I'm doing that so I could do a nice hedge that would go over the white fence of my friend and good neighbor back there. But I'll be doing a vlog on that where I do a summer prune and how to properly do it. Now from there we pan down, and this is where the rosemary is located. Whoop. Pardon the lighting, I'm still using an iPhone and this doesn't automatically adjust the lighting, especially on a clear day like today. We just had Hurricane Isaias pass through our area, and we have a very blue sky, clumpy cloud kind of a day. I'm in the shade of the tree, and this is where I'm going to be working. So I'm going to gather up a few cuttings, and this is where my workstation is going to be. Again, pardon the lighting because I'm under the tree and there's a lot of shadows created by the leaves. I prepared myself some of these little pots that we got from when we did our succulent haul. Those succulents are usually in these 1.5-inch, 2-inch pots, and these are what I'm going to recycle and use for propagating. I could easily, with the amount of little pots that I have over here, I could easily have I'd say 36 individual cuttings, and I'll show you how that's done. I have my metal tray over here where I will be doing the cutting, and got me to the dollar store, and I got from the Dollar Tree just this set of 3 individual small knives that I figured I'd use for gardening. So I'm setting up over here. All I need is the planting medium, and whenever I do propagating, what I do is I use perlite. It's light, there's not much nutrition in it, but it's good enough to hold the cuttings, and hopefully with proper moisture and humidity, which all of these pots, once they're filled up, I'm going to put them in another humidity box that I will be constructing today out of just a regular plastic storage box. So let me just set everything up and I'll show you what I do. Alright, so I'm just going to randomly cut the rosemary branches right at the junction where you have the wooden part of the branch and the soft part of it. So this is the spot that I was telling you about. Hang on, let me lower the focus here. There it is. So that right there, this right here is a good example of where to cut. And I want to just show you what that looks like right there. All right, smell of rosemary is very prominent right now because all these oils that came from, there it is, that came from the actual cut, they're now all over my hand and fingers, and the scent of it is pretty strong right now in this part of the garden. To begin with, in propagating the rosemary branches that I just took cuttings from the main plant, I'm arranging all these little pots, and what we'll do is we will fill it up. We will fill it up with perlite all the way up to the top. And so far I have, how many do I have over here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I got two more. I got two more that I'm trying to empty, so I got about 13. Planning on putting 2 or 3 individual branches, cuttings in the pot. So we'll end up having, about 24 if I choose to do it at 2 or 36. We're just going to fill this up, perlite. I've mentioned this before, in propagating you really don't need medium that has a lot of fertilizer in it, or some growing chemical or synthetic or organic. It's, in my opinion, you're wasting some of those materials, because all they really need is a humid, moist environment in order for the roots to naturally form. So that's what we will provide using perlite and everything. So I'll top that off after we prepare some of the cuttings. Let me just set these aside. I'm going to use the tray so I could start preparing. A nice clearance there. You can see what we're going to work on. So here's the cutting. A gardening guru that I follow would recommend that after you do the cut, you put the cutting inside a plastic bag to retain the moisture. But we're going to cut it anyway to up to the second node from the bottom, and that would be the cut down here. Let me just strip this off. Alright, so there's the first node. Hang on, hopefully this will focus. That's the first node right there, and then the second node over here. Where we will cut is right about there, right at the bottom of the viable leafy branch that we have. So we'll cut that right down there. So with a knife, we'll cut it just like that. Alright, what I'm going to do is strip it again of these leaves and leave about two, 3 individual nodes. Stick it right to the side of the pot. Fill that up even more with perlite. Okay, So obviously over here I could still fit 2 individual branches, 2 cuttings, and we'll do that along the way. So I'm gonna just work on all of these. While we are on the subject of propagating, after propagating some of the rosemary cuttings that I have, I wanted to give you an update on the hydrangea cuttings that I did about 2 weeks ago. While I'm on the work table, I figured I'd cut a few more of these new hydrangea cuttings. These 3 would make up the new batch, but I wanted to show you what the previous batch looks like, because they are thriving, they're alive. They don't have visible roots yet, but you can see all these terminal offshoots that are coming from the original leaves that I've cut. They're growing well enough that, look at that new set of leaves coming from that section of the previous leaf. So that's a good sign that the entire length and stem of the hydrangea, it is spongy. If you take a look at it, the middle of the hydrangea stalk is spongy, and that needs to be filled up with water. And so all the hormones that are there and all the other growing material, I'm not an expert, I'm just basing it off of the readings on the literature. They are happy right now. Like, look at that new set of leaves, and that's a good example of a good visual of how spongy the inside of the hydrangea stalk looks like. But that needs to be kept moist and in a humid environment. Look at that new leaf that's forming back there. I don't have roots yet, but I know that these are alive, and we'll keep them here for several weeks still, and I will start planting them when they start filling in with roots. I'm expecting roots to come out from the bottom of the pots. We'll be able to plant them in the fall, but that's how they look like right now. And I thought I'd add this segment to the new propagation project that I did today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Acorn Hill if you haven't already for more videos coming up. For now, look after yourselves. This is Louie, and we'll see you back here in Acorn Hill.